Okay, so hello YouTube. So you remember you get the bonus stuff where before we actually start recording the show, I got to get myself psyched up here. Good. Gonna get all excited for this big dour episode. It's just not German expressionism, all right, folks? It's going to be French heartbreak. So we're gonna have a Lady Wan. Are you all set with the show and everything? You good to roll with us today? Did we lose her? Man, I think that's the fastest I've been rejected by a woman in my life. Minute and a half.
Yeah.
I'll have to hang tight, see if she bounces back. She's still on the call.
Yeah. How do I it's been a long time. How do I update the website?
Been a long time. What do you mean?
I have an
What do you wanna
idea. I have an idea. I don't want to commit to it in case I don't actually do it, but I have an idea. And I just want to know how to make an entry or make an update on the page if I want to.
Yeah, no, sure. It's the Squarespace stuff. I will not tell you how to access the website right now.
Until I get approval in writing for my idea. Make a presentation.
No.
A pitch.
More just since this is going to be out on YouTube, I'm not going to give you the login in the past.
No, that's a good idea.
It's bigbootylover.com, bigbootylover39 at yahoo dot what up. Yeah, I guess so. She says she can text. She's chatting. I would say
Okay.
yes. She says you can hear me. If you can hear me, yes, because I don't know why we'd be having an issue with you, young lady. And she's gone. And she's back.
Maybe?
Yep.
There you are.
All right, I'm gonna hold on this time. I
What-
don't
All right.
don't know what I'm doing.
That's fine. So welcome.
Thank you.
You have any questions? You good to go?
No,
Anything
I'm
you-
good.
Okay. Could you lean in a little more? You're still a little
Yes.
distant from me.
I can stay very close.
Put your mouth right on that thing. That's right. Tuck into that black cylinder circular thing. All right.
You made it weird.
That's what I do
I mean,
best.
I'm fully used to it. When it's podcasting time, it's time to get weird.
It's true.
All right.
Especially when everybody's stir crazy.
Very.
I wonder which is worse because Matt's got the kid, but Katie, you're flying solo, so I'm wondering which is worse.
Super solo.
I guess it really depends on who you ask. I would say I would rather be flying solos most of the time, but that's just me. That's a terrible thing to say, I know, but it's more because it was fine when she didn't have to do school, but now that I have to like work and do school at the same time, it's really hard.
Yeah, that sounds really difficult.
Yeah, it's pain. Especially since she's fights me on everything.
Well, I'm sure you're a subpar parent, so that's gotta be
Well,
part of it.
well, I don't know about subpar parent, but definitely a subpar teacher, that's for sure.
Fair enough. All right, it's late. Let's not hold everybody up. I'm probably going to want to talk about Portrait of a Lady on Fire for about an hour and a half as it is. So
That sounds
God.
right.
let's get rolling here. Chris Scouser here with,
Matt Howell.
and featuring super special guest.
The Lady One.
That's right, we got Lady Wan again from the ScreenFix Pod, which is one of my favorite podcasts where they go in and they fix. Well, how about you tell instead of me telling people what you do? You probably could explain it better.
So basically, the entire concept of the show is when you see a movie and you're talking about it with your friend and you're like, you know what they should have done? That's it. That's
There
the
you
show.
Available on all your podcasting platforms and the website. I know I screwed this up the first time, but it's screenfixpod.com. Is that correct?
Correct.
Nailed it.
Awesome.
So if you couldn't tell from the opening of the show, it's going to be a French fest. We are going to discuss my second favorite film of 2019, Portrait of a Lady on Fire. I had never been more terrified of recording a show than today. because I adore this thing, and I'm really scared to talk to anybody who didn't, and it would make me sad. And then, just by happenstance, we're actually going to discuss I Lost My Body, which is an animated film currently available on Netflix, nominated for Best Animated Feature. And this was Matt's pick. So the French thing is just serendipity. And I'm going to have a little special treat for you near the end of the show as well that I think we did once, but I'm going to bring it back just because of this one occasion. We'll also tell you what's coming up on physical media that you should be picking up this week, or at least be generally aware of. And then it is going to be the return of What Are the Odds? This is our Vegas Odds Maker segment. We'll explain all of that when we get into it. So I'm very excited. This is a big show for me. I think my parents are listening live. Okay, here we go. Let's start it off. Portrait of a Lady on Fire.
L'homme intéressé par ma fille est milanais. Nous partons là-bas si le portrait lui plaît.
Vous partirez.
Il faut que vous sachiez une chose. Elle a épuisé déjà un peintre avant vous. Avec une idée simple, en vérité. Elle a refusé de poser. Il n'a jamais vu son visage.
Pourquoi refuse-t-elle d'être peinte?
Parce qu'elle refuse ce mariage. Vous allez devoir la peindre sans qu'elle le sache. Elle pense que vous êtes une compagne de promenade pour quelques jours. Elle se réjouit.
So Marianne is a young painter, folks, who is brought to this isolated island where there is a young woman named Eloise, and she is going to be married off. And part of the tradition is that they get their portrait painted, and it is sent to the location where they're going to be. And then when if it's accepted and the woman gets there, she sees the portrait of herself over the fireplace, the mantle, wherever. And she starts her new life, basically betrothed to this person she may never have met. She is unfortunately stuck doing this because her older sister was originally fated to marry this Italian gentleman, and she took her own life instead of having to do that. Now, these two women, this young painter and the subject of said painting, then fall in love, and they have this brief time together while this painting is being done, just to really just spend the time and the joy they possibly can before her rest of her life begins. And that is about as rudimentary and as dull as I can make this film. So I've been looking forward to talking about this for 3 months. As I said in the opening, this was my second favorite film of 2019, and I rewatched it again for the show. Part of me thinks I better rewatch Parasite, because now I feel like I want to. This maybe have been my favorite film upon retrospect. And it still got the same chills. Matt, Lady Wan, I gasped 3 times when I watched this originally, audibly. Like really, this thing just floored me. It may have changed my life, a la like a Shin song in Garden State. So we'll start off with our guest, if I may. Am I just out of control here, Lady Wan? Am I just? Do you see any of what just made me fall in love with this film? What are your thoughts?
So I do see it. It's like watching it. I don't understand. I don't know. I've had this experience a few times watching a movie where you'll be watching something and then you just sort of stop and are like, why do other people make movies? Like, it's one of those that just sort of makes you feel like, why do trash movies exist when this is the same category of art? Like, it blows my mind that, like, I don't know, thing that's coming to mind because of something else I watched, that like 27 Dresses exists and like this movie exists. That doesn't make sense to me. Like, it's a different level of something to watch. And so I totally understand that it won't be for everyone, but it is so beautiful. And I felt really, really fancy watching it.
Well, that's good. Now, Matt, briefly, your
okay.
favorite film is movie 43, as we firmly established on this.
Sure. I've never actually seen movie 43. I know it's legendarily bad, but I have not seen it.
Oh, okay.
I just want to call out Lady Wan a little bit here. So what I didn't get out of that is that you respected the movie and it was a great piece of art, but did you enjoy it? Did you like it?
I did.
Okay.
I did. I don't feel like it's one that I'm going to be like, ugh, you know what I should watch tonight. I don't know when I'm going to be in that mood.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot. It's also a lot when you're locked up alone. It's a lot. So, so I was like, oh man. So that's tough stuff. Like it's not an everyday occasion kind of
Sure.
movie.
Sure. Yeah, I'm with you. That was what I was trying to get at. So Chris was gushing over this thing. I think when we were on Twitter, we were talking about like our 4 favorite films, and he and I quantified it by saying that this is kind of out of the time. But I was shocked to see this thing was like on there, right?
Yep.
I was like, man,
it is right now.
this thing must be great. And I thought it was on some other people's lists as well. So I was looking forward to watching it, and I have to say, it is a beautiful film. It's a film that I can see why people love it, but I didn't connect with it emotionally. Like I didn't feel invested in the relationship really. I didn't feel connected to either of the actresses or the performances. They're all very kind of distant to me. I'm just telling you like it is, man. I'm real. I'm being real here. There's something about it that is not accessible, and I don't think it's just me, but maybe it is. But I don't know. I appreciated it, but I can't say I particularly enjoyed it.
Okay, this is upsetting to me.
Tell me why I'm wrong.
This film it's just like Lady Wan said. It is a work of art. There is a slow burn here. All right, it's not slow, as some people who I may be related to via marriage have said when she watched the film. There is a slow burn of this kindling that erupts into this all-encompassing fire. I think that threatens to consume them and us. I think the ending of this film absolutely knocks you on the floor. Each shot of this thing was like a painting to me. I've posted I don't know how many images of this thing. I think it's still currently in my Twitter background. I found those performances to be pitch perfect, given the time and the circumstances that surround this film, where it is, when it is. And there are scenes in this thing that, as I said, made me audibly gasp. And even upon my rewatch, I still got chills. The scene and under the rocks with their faces are wrapped up, and there's this visual scene of consent that occurs with the unraveling of the face protection. There's the scene when she tells her to turn around near the end of the film. There's the reveal of the painting at the end as well. I'm actually getting a goosebump now just describing it. I think the whole point with the deliberate pacing is what we like to say instead of calling something slow. The deliberate pacing is obviously a purposeful decision by the director Céline Sciamma, because she is just slowly drawing you in to this film, just as the emotions slowly kind of develop between our two stars, and it read as hypnotic to me. This is a meta depiction of art in every single way I can think of it. It serves as a metaphor for how timeless art is, how short our time is together, and really, in the end, how inevitable all things are. And it is just a stunning film that rocked me on a deeply emotional level. I think maybe it's the artist inside of me, right? It represents a core of who I am, I guess, is why I was so moved. If you don't know my background, I actually went to art school. So there was just so much in this thing that just made my heart spill over. It is just a stunning work of beauty, love, and art. And I can't get away from it. It stays in my thoughts. It haunts me at times when I think about it. And I don't want it to sound condescending, but I'm slightly saddened when people don't have the same reaction or impact to it than I do.
It is a gorgeous film, but I got the complete opposite to me. It's almost too perfect and composed. It's cold. Like I don't feel the passion coming off of them at all.
Not even that scene under the rocks there on the shore when they reveal their mouths and the moment hits, and you didn't get the.
Yes, but it's not enough to carry the whole film. One scene doesn't make a grand, passionate love story.
Not one scene. Is it just not hardcore enough for you? Are you looking for like a Skinamax
No, I'm just saying. Like,
version?
no, I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying, I don't know. I didn't. Again, they just seemed very sterile and cold to me. It just did.
Well, they're French.
I guess maybe that's it.
They're French. That's it.
That's just it. I mean, they're an aloof people. What can I say?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, I can think of a dozen other forbidden love stories, or even just conventional love stories, or love stories about love crumbling that were more raw and or at least were more believable to me as something that actually existed. I mean, I think that this thing, you can look at it, yes, it is like a painting, but it has as much feeling as a painting. If you're looking at it and you're not feeling it, then I don't think there's anything they can do about this. This is all, to me, it's all, I don't want to say, it's not Flash, because it's way more put together than that, but it's just, I don't know, to me, it's just not deep, or at least I wasn't connecting with what was underneath it.
Lady Wan, anything you want to add? Is there one more knife you have ready for my back and my heart?
No, not a knife at all. Just piggybacking on what Matt said. It is like, the best comparison to make is it is like a painting. Like, some paintings you're just gonna connect with. Sometimes you're in a museum and you're looking at something and you're like, oh my God, how are other people walking around in this room? How are they not staring at this? Because it's personal. Like, your connection to it is personal, and somebody else can look at the same thing and get nothing out of it and move on to the next room, the next painting, the end. Like, if you get something from it, you do, but you can still, I think he's still recognizing the beauty of it, but just not feeling like a connection to it. And I could totally see this not being it for everybody, but I really, really liked it. I just don't know how much I could put myself through this movie, like how frequent.
Right.
It's a lot. It's heavy.
Well, yeah. In the end, I think what really sums it up for me perfectly is the final shot of the film, as Eloise is enjoying the concert with the orchestra, and her absolute reaction to it. The soaking in the sheer joy and the heartbreak as well, all in that one perfectly shot moment as the camera kind of shakes and rattles back and forth with her own personal movement, right? So we're really drawn into the emotion of that particular scene as well. And there's so many wonderful little touches like that here. So it's fair enough. It's fine.
You shouldn't take it so personally. You didn't make the film, Chris.
I guess not. I guess I didn't.
You know what? And in some way, maybe this is also partially your fault, because you talked it up quite high. My expectations were through the roof, Chris. Through the roof.
I know. That's why I've been nervous to do this whole episode, because of I know I've been gushing about this thing for 3-4 months now since I saw it. It's
sorry.
wonderful.
I'm sorry.
Absolutely wonderful.
It was good. It made me want wine and bread.
I guess that's good. I'll take that.
I wanted to go to France.
Let's roll around the room. Lady Wan, what letter grade are you giving Portrait of a Lady on Fire?
I'm going to just go regular A. No pluses, no minuses. Regular.
Okay.
Yes.
Matt?
I'm going to say B+.
Okay. Sure. Can't even muster up
I
an
might as
A
well
minus for your best friend.
I said I might as well have just given it an F. Might have just said it was the worst movie I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, I went back and forth on this. Can't remember the last time I gave out an A+. Right now I'm sitting at an A, because I feel, though this seems to fit all the personal criterion for to get an A+, I'd have written down an A. I may reserve to change it at some point. I think I gave Parasite an A as well. So, I don't know. I mean, like you said, Matt, it's no movie 43. Nothing will top the guy with the testicles on his chin, which I believe was Hugh Jackman. So, don't know how he didn't win an Oscar for that. Yeah, I give Parasite an A as well. So I don't know. I guess I'll go. I'm gonna say A, but
But
as
your
always,
heart says A+.
I know I reserve
Yeah,
the
just
right.
go with your
can
heart.
tell.
Man.
We
You
know.
should just go with the A plus if that's what you're feeling.
Maybe I will. All right. Fine. If you had a chance to see Portrait of a Lady on Fire, shoot us an email at feedback@thefirstrun.com. If you loved it, email me. If you didn't, email Matt
So
movie43fan@yahoo.com. What?
So I just did a quick search on our report card. The last A plus you gave was to Lady Bird.
I did not give that an A+, did I?
Yeah, you gave
But
Lady Bird an
that's
A
a
plus,
great grade.
Baby Driver an A plus. Although I gave Baby Driver an A plus as well. And that's it. Those are the only A pluses.
did.
Baby Driver and Lady Bird.
All right, then I'm settled. A+ for sure. I may have to drop Lady Bird down to an A.
And go back and change Parasite to an A plus.
I know, right? I have no integrity whatsoever, so that's fine. Okay, A+ it is. I feel better, but you know what? There's been a weight lifted off of me by saying yes, A+. So there you go. Thank you, both of you, for this quick little therapy session.
We brought you down, then we brought you back up.
That's what friends do.
It's available on Hulu right now, and you can rent it digitally everywhere. It's also getting a Criterion Collection release, which I will be buying. I'm really wondering at some point if Criterion is going to get into the 4K market. Your boutique genre sites like Vinegar Syndrome and I think, is it Grindhouse or I can't remember who now. But they've actually released 4K discs. So I'm hoping Criterion is going to get on board at some point. This would be a great one to start with. Moving on. Matt, Lady Wan, let's spend a few minutes talking about what's coming up on physical media this upcoming Tuesday, April 7th. A film I loved, was in my top 10. I don't think, Matt, you saw it. And Lady Wan enjoyed it, but not as much as some other versions she's saying.
I just feel like women, they have minds and they have souls as well as just hearts, and they've got ambition and they've got talent as well as just beauty. And I'm so sick of people saying that love is just all a woman is fit for. I'm so sick of it. But I'm so lonely.
So that's Saoirse Ronan in Little Women from Greta Gerwig's adaptation of the classic novel. A film I really, really liked. Ms. Wan, though, you enjoyed it, right? But you weren't blown away by it.
Yeah, I really liked it, but I just love that 94 one so much. But I think I'm going to have to rewatch this now because I've seen the 94 one like 20 times, so it's not really fair.
Yeah, that has definitely got a bit of a lead.
Yeah.
And one of the still a weird thing for me is Bob Odenkirk showing up in that thing. Being such a fan of his that I am. He's good in it, but it's a jarring, like if you know who he is, it's like a jarring thing
weird
when he just shows up.
Yeah.
They're my little women. It's just waiting for him to go, God damn it! But he never does. If you don't know, that's kind of his thing. Yelling, God damn it. Okay. So that's getting a release, a whole bunch of making of featurettes, interviews with Greta Gerwig, and more. An absolute, from what I understand, I haven't seen it, but a horrible film. At least it bombed at the box office. Robert Downey Jr.'s adaptation of Dolittle. The Dr. Dolittle story is being released. A bunch of making of featurettes on that about the special effects, some voice work, something by Antonio Banderas, who's the Pirate King, and more. This seems like it would have been perfect for your show, Lady Wan. Did you guys check out Dolittle?
So it didn't end up happening because of timing. It came out at the same time as Bad Boys for Life, and we made a choice.
That's understandable. Well, you guys now, since we are all unavailable, we are all adrift at sea, unable to go to the theater. This maybe could make it into your guys' queue. I'd love to hear that.
It might happen. It just might.
Or I'll go on your show again and just absolutely destroy it, like I do whenever I show up.
We love it.
Another weird film from last year that we may have to check out at some point, Matt, is Tom Hooper's Cats.
Do we have to check it out?
Maybe not. But here's the big screen adaptation of the air quotes classic musical, which I've understood, if I remember correctly, I actually did see it at Broadway, is just different cats introducing themselves for basically 2 hours. Isn't that what it is? So,
Sure.
features audio commentary by Hooper and a whole bunch of other stuff. A film we're actually going to be doing in a couple weeks. Joe Begos is who we just discussed his film Bliss, which is currently on Shudder. His latest film VFW is being released. It's a typical night for a group of war veterans at their local VFW, but it turns into an all-out battle for survival when a teenage girl runs into the bar with a bag of stolen drugs. 2 filmmaker audio commentaries and 3 making-of featurettes included on that one. Scream is releasing Knives and Skin from writer-director Jennifer Reeder. It is a mystical teen noir that follows a young girl's disappearance in the rural Midwest and its effect on the teens and their parents. There's an on-the-set interview and deleted scenes for that one. Daniel Radcliffe keeps rolling with his odd roles in Escape from Pretoria. 2 white South Africans imprisoned for working on behalf of the ANC, determined to escape from the notorious white man's Robben Island, Pretoria prison. Criterion is giving us Army of Shadows on Blu-ray. Betrayed by an informant, Philip Gerber finds himself trapped in a torturous Nazi prison camp. It's a brand new high-definition digital restoration supervised by a director of photography, Pierre Lam. There's an alternate 2.0 surround soundtrack presented in DTS HT Master Audio, a ported-over audio commentary from 2006, interviews from 2007, and more. Arrow is releasing Beyond the Door, which is a schlocky Italian ripoff of The Exorcist. Includes a brand new 2K restoration of the extended uncut English export version and more. The English export version, the US theatrical version is also getting a 2K restoration. That is exclusive to this limited edition set. So if you want the original version of this just truly terrible but enjoyable Italian horror film, you're going to have to pick up this set. Scorpion is releasing Terror Train. This is the Jamie Lee Curtis one where the kids had the fraternity masquerade party on the train and they all get hunted down and killed. It's a 80s less than great film. Scream Factory had released it originally, but apparently they must have lost the license. So Scorpion has released a brand new 2K restoration of the film with a couple new interviews. The Paul Bettany, Kirsten Dunst film Wimbledon is getting its Blu-ray release, as long as Empire, starring John Leguizamo. And then your straight-to-DVD pick of the week is the Jason Stevenson Triple Threat Collection. Doomed to Consume. A small town is overrun by zombies, and a small group of survivors head out to find salvation. Terror Overload. A creepy truck driver spins a trilogy of terrifying tales too sexy. Stranded Motorist Debbie. The journey into the macabre begins with Dinner Date, then to Lot Lizard, and finally the shocking Mongo Chupa. And then finally, I think, Lady Wan, you asked me to choose this because of this last one. The Strip Club Slasher. A seedy small-town strip joint takes a down-and-dirty donkey punch to the back of the head when one of the girls is brutally murdered. Fearing the killer may be targeting the local talent, the authorities shut the place down while they investigate the crime. Sad and scared, the other girls decide to spend the weekend together to reflect on the loss of their friend and to keep each other safe. Donkey Punch. Matt, what should we be streaming this week?
You know, I just want to digress a little bit. It seems weird to pick a streaming pick since all we're doing is doing streaming picks. So I'm going to suggest another film that Chris gushed about and I drug my feet on watching. But in the end, he actually was right, gloriously right, if you will. The Florida Project is available on Amazon Prime. Kind of the closest thing to like cinema verite you're going to get these days, where a bunch of first-time actors and actresses bump up against Willem Dafoe in an excellent role, playing average people just struggling to survive in the shadow of the Magic Kingdom. It's a fantastic little slice of why Florida is considered what it is. And I used to. Good. It is. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it is delightful, and Willem Dafoe is fantastic in that. I think it's one of his best performances. Do you agree, Matt?
You're absolutely right.
Exactly. So let's go ahead and spend a few minutes discussing the French animated feature, I Lost My Body.
Est-ce que tu crois au destin?
Comme si tout était écrit d'avance, qu'on suivait une sorte de trajectoire.
Ouais.
Et qu'on pourrait rien changer.
À moins de faire un truc complètement imprévisible et irrationnel.
Un truc comme quoi?
Un truc improvisé, que tu devrais pas faire, que t'aurais pas dû faire, mais que t'as bien fait de faire parce qu'au final ça t'a amené ailleurs. Et tu regrettes pas. Un truc comme ça.
Et après? Une fois que t'as dribblé le destin, tu fais quoi?
So Matt, why don't you tell the fine folks at home, what is I Lost My Body all about?
You always give me the weird ones. So a severed hand goes on a journey to reunite itself with its body, as it has some flashbacks of who it used to be and who it was attached to. And it's really the story of kind of a young man who's growing up in, I think, French Morocco, maybe, moves to Paris and just meets a girl. I don't want to get too much into it because, obviously you got to be along for the ride,
Exactly. So Toy Story 4 won Best Animated Feature, and I rather enjoyed that film. Lady Wan, have you seen Toy Story 4?
Yes.
All
I
right.
cried so hard.
So now you've seen I Lost My Body, another candidate for Best Animated Feature. Do you think Toy Story 4 still deserved the win?
I don't really feel like it's a fair competition, but this I Lost My Body did not make me cry, and Toy Story 4 made me cry like 4 times. So, I'm sorry.
Matt,
Yeah.
what do you think? I'm going to see if I can mute her going forward.
No, we need to watch Claws too, because that was also nominated and it's also available on Netflix. I hear that's very good as well.
Okay.
So I will say this: Toy Story 4 was maybe one of the first ones that it didn't push me to tears, where the theater didn't get dusty. Because the end of Toy Story 3, that got me. So I was not as emotionally invested in Toy Story 4. This one didn't make me cry either, but I think I enjoyed it more than Toy Story 4. I kind of hope they stopped going back to the Toy Story well with Pixar, personally. Sorry, lady.
No, I would agree. I think we're done. We can stop now.
All right.
No, I Lost My Body I found just beautiful, right? And one of my favorite things about it is that it's hand-drawn, which I can't remember the last time that we watched a hand-drawn animated film. And
It's such a beautiful day. It's probably the last time I did.
wow, man, that's another great film. So, which we spent like 20 minutes talking about, was it last
We
week?
did, yeah. A couple weeks ago, yeah.
So, yeah, no, this thing is beautiful, it's sad, it's macabre at times, and it's ingenious. I loved the unconventional narrative about this, specifically how the timeline reveals, and we jump around in time, but there's 3 really defining events, right, that we're dealing with here. And it's truly shocking at times, heart-wrenching, and it is just a relentlessly clever film, I felt, about young love, yearning, grief, and eventually perhaps the triumph of the human spirit. I was just watching this in amazement as this hand's journey kind of unfolds, and we get the backstory of everything that happened and really Nafal's life. And it's been a fantastic week for me watching movies, because this thing was great. It's smart, funny at times, but also very, very deep and emotional, and just very exceptionally well done. Matt, I don't know. What do you think?
I agree with you. I was really on board with this film. Now, see, this is a film I did emotionally connect with. I was on board with this, and everything it had to say. I mean, the main character has, personal tragedy. He's got flaws. He's got his positives, and the way just everything kind of works out. And I do like it that it ends on a relatively hopeful note, which is nice for the French, since they're so aloof, as we've already alluded to. Yeah, I really enjoyed this. I'm glad we got a chance to catch up with this. We played it in the original French. You can also, if subtitles are not your thing, you can watch it on Netflix with the dubbed version as well. So people shouldn't be afraid of that if you don't like to do them readings. So it's something that's I think people should give it a chance.
Yeah, it's a tight 81 minutes too, and I think it flies by. The English, you know who the cast is too. So Dev Patel plays Nafal.
Really?
Alia Shawkat is Gabriel. George Wendt, Norm, is Gigi in this. So I think you got some pretty good talent in there too. Ms. Lady Wan, what are your thoughts of I Lost My Body?
I really enjoyed this one. There was a point in the middle where I kind of started to like disassociate with it a little bit. I was like, wait, maybe I don't like this. Maybe it's just, and then I was just sucked immediately back in. I was really surprised. I know you guys don't do spoilers. Really surprised at the ending. I was like, my heart was pounding at one point watching it. I was like getting so nervous. And I don't know, I really just enjoyed the emotional journey of it all. And it actually reminded me of A Ghost Story, the Casey Affleck, Rooney Mara movie.
Yeah.
Reminded me so much of that in terms of like the feelings going through watching the movie. But I thought it was really great. I really liked it.
Yeah, I got to tell you, one of the most tense scenes I think I've seen this year is when we get the illustration of how he lost his hand. I mean, the way that's drawn, the way it's illustrated, it's you know it's coming, right? But you still, you're like, I was like tensing up, like, oh no,
I was so
no,
nervous.
Yeah, it's.
But like but I was so nervous.
Yeah. Oh man, it's exceptionally well done. It really is. I want to now, seeing who the English dubbed actors are, I want to watch this and kind of see how it rolls with that talent. See if the experience changes at all. So, all right, Matt, any other thoughts? Do you want to give me a grade?
Yeah, I'm going to give it an A-. I really enjoyed it. I haven't seen most of the entries in the animated feature film for Oscar, but I probably would have chosen this over Toy Story 4, personally.
Ms. Wan?
I think I got to go regular A again. I really connected with it. Like I got a ride out of there. It was a lot. It was good. I loved it.
No, definitely. I agree with you. I gave it an A as well. This is, for me, and I think looking at our scores, a really good week. Well, we saw a couple really great films. I'm a little wishy-washy in Portrait of Lady on Fire, obviously. But yes.
No. Watch it a few more times. Maybe you'll connect with it. Maybe you'll really understand what
I'll get to it.
Lady Wan really felt about it.
I don't know.
You'll get on our level, Chris.
Some stuff just doesn't work for me. If you had a chance to see I Lost My Body, shoot us an email, feedback@thefirstrun.com. It is currently available on Netflix. Okay, so I promised you all a little treat. So there was a point during when we were doing this show, I think it only lasted a week because I said the hell with it, where I think we had been flagged a few times in a row on YouTube using audio clips from films. So I actually recorded introductions to each segment, and I think we used them once.
Wow. Yeah, this was.
So I thought I'd bring back this particular one for our final segment. What are the odds? So enjoy this, and then we'll play a clip right after. So sometimes I just wonder about the decisions I make. Here we go. Oui, this is final segment. It could be Collie. Et affaire was yours. Any number of things. I hope you enjoy it, oui?
In Trebizond, we were set upon by thieves. Father, Maffeo, and I were robbed of our greatest treasures. This was written by Marco Polo.
Yes, that much we were able to work out.
Unfortunately, the rest of it's nonsense.
Hey, hold on. So that it should not fall into the wrong hands, I concealed my great sorrow in the unlikeliest place. The light of the great Khan shelters the fate of the 13.
See what I mean? It's just gibberish.
He's talking about the lost fleet.
Yeah.
I know, someone want to fill me in?
Marco Polo leaves China with 600 passengers and 14 ships loaded down with treasure from Kublai Khan. Now he lands in Persia a year and a half later with only one ship left and only 18 passengers. Now he recorded every detail of his journey, but he never told what happened to all those ships and the passengers.
So somewhere out there are 13 ships loaded with the Emperor's treasure waiting to be found.
Yeah, and that is what your client is after.
So that is a clip from a game. That is Uncharted 2. I think one of my favorite game series of all time. Each one of them,
so
I think, is
good.
Yeah, is excellent. I'm gonna pocket that though. Uncharted will come up, I think, near the end of this segment. So what are the odds is where Matt and I and hopefully Lady Wan will assign the odds of something happening or not happening. And of course, as usual, we never actually go back and find out if that did not actually occur. Though, Matt, we do have one, right, that we promised we would go back to.
Okay, which is?
I don't
remember what it is.
I think it was Dune.
Okay.
Getting a 60% on Rotten Tomatoes or something. I don't know. I'll have to go back to the episode. I'll figure it out. So, as usual, my notes are crystal clear and entirely readable. Good times. All right. So, Matt, I'll start us off. You ready? Actually, we'll start with Lady Wan. You're the guest. I'm nothing if I'm not a gentleman. Lady Wan, what are the odds we'll be back in the theater this year?
Oh, I don't want to go first now because now I'm just going to get depressed. I don't want to go first anymore. I really.
All right, Matt, what do you got? I'll let you off the hook. What do you think?
I think it's 80% chance. I think
80.
I think there's no way that the theater owners are going to let this thing go through the end of the year without ever reopening. Because if that happens, that pretty much means they're dead. I think they're definitely going to try and reopen at some point. Now, how late in the year it is, that remains to be seen, but they will reopen this year.
I'm not sure. I want to say yes. I want to give a nice, just full, juicy, thick, throbbing number that's really big, like you there at 80%. But I don't know. I'm not confident in the way things are rolling right now. They just, as of for tomorrow morning, or actually midnight tonight, tomorrow, how does that work? Is it tonight or tomorrow? Yeah, Florida is finally in lockdown. I'm concerned it may be a little late.
Oh, it's too late.
But and if they do reopen, I think it'll be what AMC was doing near the end, right before they closed, which is cutting the theater, attendance numbers in half and mandating space between the seats and a more aggressive cleaning. So I'm not as confident as you. I'm going to go, I'll still go over. I'll still say, I'll go 60% that they'll reopen this year. But man, I'm not confident saying that.
Yeah.
What about you, Juan? Do you want to participate in this one or do you want to pass?
I think I'm honestly only like 50-50 on this because...
Well, isn't everything really just 50-50?
It's true. It'll happen or it won't.
This is just to make me feel better about it because I'm thinking too much about it to like, okay, well, if they half the capacity and then they have to have less screenings. And then at that point, isn't it in the theater owner's best interest to be like, yo, bail me out because my business model is now ruined? Like just call it a day and fail. It seems like the American way versus trying to change the business model when it was already like a weird one now. I don't see them going, oh, okay, well, instead of 10 shows a night, we'll do 4. And instead of 300 people in this theater, we'll do like 80. Like no, like they just won't.
Yeah.
That's my fear is that they just won't.
I think it could be the return of the drive-in theater, though.
Oh, I hope for that. So bad.
You're gonna have huge Dolby screens out in the middle of a field somewhere.
That sounds great.
There's a drive-in theater near here.
Bubbling through the ground. There's still one in New Hartford. Tiny little one.
It's tiny though. The screen is like,
It's for the experience, Chris. Okay.
I met out with a chick at that one once. What's up?
Did you? I fell asleep in my car and I was snoring really loudly. And my daughter told me that I was snoring too loud.
Nice.
I went to Ghostbusters reboot.
It's because it was just all broads, man.
I mean, it's a little disconcerting when you have a bunch of hilarious comedians, and the funniest part of it was Thor. That's trouble.
That is indeed true. What do you got for me, Matt?
Okay, so I'm sorry, Lady Wan. I'm gonna have a lot of questions. I have two of my 3 questions are kind of in the same vein of the theaters and our current state of how things are going. So we're really just gonna just dive right into this.
Lean into the depression.
That's right. So, Chris, and I'll start with you. What are the odds that the coronavirus and the kind of lockdown that this is the end of movie theaters as we know it? That they're not going to be able to recover?
Well, I'm assuming you're going to say 80% is no, but they will. But, I mean, my big concern is the independent art house theaters, right? I think now, the good thing is the people who support them, maybe there'll be some GoFundMes and they'll be able to keep them rolling. I think the Tampa Theater here is technically owned by the city. So they might be able to get a bailout that way. But there's a theater actually supposed to be opening up in St. Pete, right? Lady Wan, and I don't know what's going to happen to them now.
I don't know either.
So I think those are the theaters that are the most in danger. I think this may speed along the process that you and I have been afraid of for a while now, Matt, which is Disney just buying a theater chain and then really crowding out any other non-Disney related fare. So I think that may have sped up that timeline. So that, which would mean then I don't know. I think the odds that the theater business is done as we know it, I don't think so. So I'm going to give you a whopping 20% on that. I think they will come back. We may see some increased prices, and the experience may never be the same. We may have kind of that forced space seating for quite a while. Maybe fewer shows, as Lady Wan said. But no, I'm only going 20% chance that the theater industry itself is done.
Lady Wan, do you want to answer that question?
Or do you just want to hug a pillow and sob? I'm telling you, once this clears, I'm going to spend the day at the theater when we've been released.
I have spent way too much time considering things that I might never get to do again lately. So, 40%.
Wow, you're much more pessimistic than I am.
I really am. It's so terrible. Oh.
Yeah.
I usually describe myself as cautiously pessimistic as well, but
I'm so glad Endgame came out last year.
Seriously, right?
If I can't see No Time to Die in a Dolby theater, I don't know what I'm going to do. That will break me more so maybe than Portrait of a Lady on Fire did.
Oh boy.
It'll be like Portrait and then Once and then whatever is a movie, really sad movie. It would be like just a cocktail of heartbreak for me. What do you think, Matt?
So I hate to break it to you guys. I think it's a 70% chance that this is the beginning of the end in theaters that we know it. With the exception of AMC, even the big theater chains are hanging on by a thread. And if people get used to the fact of not going, especially if, all these films that are in the bag that are just wasting money, if it goes long enough where, they have no choice but to release them and people get used to that, I don't know if it becomes like one of these things where you have maybe a couple mega theater chains, like a Disney and an AMC or something like that, and that's all there is left. Yeah, I think it'll contract quite a bit. I don't think some of these other bigger ones and even the smaller ones can survive.
Well, I wonder if it could be like a Barnes & Noble thing, where... So it started off where there were always mom and pop bookstores, right? And then Borders and Walden Books and B. Dalton and Barnes & Noble came in and shut out all of those bookstores. And now Amazon came over and then is shutting down all the Barnes & Nobles. Mm-hmm. But what's happened, the reverse has then happened, is that now some of the smaller bookstores have started to come back again because it has that dedicated clientele who want that experience. So this may end up being, I know I'm contradicting myself because, as I said, I have no integrity. This could be the beginning of the small art house theaters kind of popping up again, as long as they'll have to be in more populated centers here, like in Tampa, that would be able to support something like that, have a dedicated base, maybe like even a subscription service or a membership to maintain the theaters. And that's kind of, so you'll be able to see independent fare and maybe the smaller wide releases. I just can't see the new the MCU film being released straight to Disney Plus, and that's the only experience you're going to have for it. I don't see it.
Yeah, I mean, I think Disney has enough money to where they could make their own theaters and stuff. I guess what I'm just saying, like, your Regals, like, I don't know how they, like, things like that, I don't know how they survive. I think they're going to contract. I mean, I think you're right. I think what will happen is you'll have, like, AMC may be able to weather the storm, something like Disney or, whatever other big, studio that's left at this point. Warner Brothers, maybe they create their own chain or something. And then you do have a bunch of art house fairs. But I think it's fundamentally going to change the way the theater landscape works and the way that films are distributed. Because if this thing goes, like if you guys are talking about, like, you're not convinced that this thing is going to reopen and like throughout the entire year, what are they going to do with like Wonder Woman? What are they going to do with Black Widow? They're just not going to release them. I mean, like,
sure.
I mean, but I mean, so you're saying from now in April to December, no movies get released at all.
There'll be stuff that maybe there will be other films that basically, like you said, that get that home video release, like get that on-demand release. But I think they're gonna pocket your Wonder Womans, your James Bonds. I'm wondering now if Bond's is gonna be pushed back to next year.
I mean, didn't they push Fast and the Furious to next year?
They
immediately?
did.
Like off the jump, they were like, just kidding, next May.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, if you're pushing through, if these studios are making no money, how in the hell are they going to survive?
I think they'll come up with on demand, maybe repackage or release stuff. I'd be more concerned with the theater chains, like you said themselves, because they will have no income.
Yeah, but I guess, I mean, movies are, if you're spending money, but you're not making any in return. I mean, I don't know if they stop making movies. Like they put stuff on hiatus and they just don't start until they can start
potentially
selling again.
A lot of filming of stuff is shut down. The Batman is shut down right now.
Yeah, I know. I don't know. It's weird. It's just really weird because I just don't see, especially something like a publicly traded company where they're making absolutely no money, that their stock price, people are going to be wanting to, them to do something.
Well, we're on the verge of a depression at the moment. It depends on how things go in the next month. Next 2-3 weeks, things could get a lot darker. I'm hoping not. I'm hoping things turn around, but it's
a depression. Probably Great Recession.
I think
another
the economy is going to get on my emotional level.
Well, we've already down more jobs than we were during the Great Depression. Just sheer numbers.
Right.
I don't know, but it's not though. There's not it's not a whole bunch of events. It's one thing that if we can ride out, things could ramp back up again. But then that's a whole. Listen, that's not what our show is. Matt, what are the odds that the PlayStation 5 saves physical media, particularly the 4K disc, like the PS3 did with Blu-ray?
35%. I don't think the people that are buying a PlayStation 5 or even in an Xbox Project Scarlet,
Xbox, whatever it is,
you'd be surprised. I mean, I'm actually really surprised that Sony is even staying afloat. Like the only thing that's like profitable for them is PlayStation 5, is the PlayStation. Everything else is like, as a company, I don't see how they can survive. Whereas Microsoft has so much money they can just keep throwing the stuff at it and keep going. Yeah, I don't, but I still don't see. I think they've got PlayStation Plus model. They're still streaming. I don't think the kids these days, as we say, are into physical media. I don't think it matters to them. Look at somebody like me who's got like literally totes and totes and totes of like DVDs and Blu-rays that I don't know what the hell to do with. Yeah,
but you're hip. You use the word totes.
No, like an actual plastic tote, Chris.
I got my 4Ks of A New Hope and Return of the Jedi today, and my Empire is supposed to come this weekend. Nice. And I did get the Target exclusive of I use exclusive of Rise of Skywalker. So
all right.
Anyway, what do you think, Juan? Do you think the PS5 is going to save physical media, and like as we said, the PlayStation 3 really is what made Blu-ray, because there was that whole HD DVD Blu-ray war, and when the PlayStation went with blue, that was it. Well, it was actually more because Warner Brothers went with blue because they have the largest back catalog. So, but that still, the PS3 was a big part of that.
I'm gonna be optimistic, just because I have to be.
Good for you.
And I feel like when everything goes streaming, then there will be a shift of like, no, man, I want to own it. Like, I want to have it. I feel like that will happen, like, just kind of in response to it. So I'm going to go, like, 67%.
Look at you. I'm loving this. I'm not as confident. I'm going to go, the problem is when I look at the music model, that's not what's happened. People don't buy CDs anymore because they can access stuff anytime via streaming, and they don't own it.
But now I buy records.
You do, and I think records, was it last year? Records outsold CDs? Is that true? Am I making that? I might be making that up.
I feel like I heard that too, but maybe I heard it from you, so who knows?
Exactly. So I have a nice burgeoning vinyl collection myself, but it's still a niche market. That's not the mass public basically streams. And that's the issue too with the streaming is you don't own it. You're basically purchasing a long license that could be revoked at any point. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I'm not confident. I'm going to say 40% that the PS5 is going to save physical media. I'm just not. The cult stuff will always be around in physical media because it's people like me who just want to have that kind of stuff. But when it comes to the latest Fast and Furious, just like we said last week, Matt, is this going to? What do you think, Lady One? Do you think that this 4K Star Wars releases, is this the last time Star Wars gets a physical media release?
No.
That original trilogy?
No.
You think they'll do it in 8K at some point?
Yeah, why not?
You know, I think we're depressing Lady One. I don't think she's ever going to come back.
All right, Matt, give us something funny.
I
Give
have
us something
nowhere to
sunny.
go.
She's like, why are you doing this to me? All right, so I don't know if this is fun, but I know Twitter's an echo chamber, and like but I don't. Sometimes I just don't get it, like how disconnected I seem to be with what everybody in social media is saying. I still can't believe people are clamoring for the Snyder Cut, which I can't imagine is gonna polish the turd of.
Oh, you say that name? Sorry, go ahead. What?
Of BVS or even Justice League. Is there a Snyder Cut of Justice League or two? I don't know.
That's what it is. It's a Snyder Cut of Justice League. We have the Snyder Cut of BVS.
Okay.
And it is at least a B film. Do we have to do this again?
Yeah, I when you say that, like all credibility goes out the door for me. But Warner Brothers has a new CEO, and they have expressed interest in actually releasing the Snyder Cut. So what are the odds that with this new CEO we actually get a Snyder Cut?
I'm gonna say, listen, the fanboy in me wants to see this damn thing. So, and I still think it's the perfect thing for the HBO Max or whatever it is. It's perfect. You're gonna get all those kids to sign up for that 30-day free trial or whatever, and then they're gonna cancel. But still, it's. I think
Some of them will forget.
Maybe. Let's hope
That's what
so.
they're counting on.
But I think it's just perfect for that. And what's it going to cost you? A few mil? Throw it at it to finish the effects. Write it off. Who cares? Whatever. And I would sign up for HBO Max to see it. I totally would. But I get it. I'm probably going to get it already for free because I have an AT&T customer. What's up? And I had that HBO for free for life thing when I signed up. So, all right. So yes, how to give you a percentage, Matt? The odds that the Snyder Cut is released, at least on demand, I'm going to say for HBO Max, going to be very specific. I'm going to go 53%. I think it is. I think it makes sense to do it. I think it will get some eyeballs on your streaming channel. Let's. What are we doing? Come on, let's do it. And then what'll be great is it'll be horrible, and it'll start the stuff all over again.
I really want to. Just to digress here, I think we really should watch Sucker Punch again. Like, you got so mad about that film.
I hated that thing.
You said you used the word offensive.
Did you hate it?
When it first came out.
You got to see it again.
It's horrible.
And the weirdest thing is that the argument we got into, I didn't even like it. I just thought Chris was being way too over the top about how much he hated it.
I think I was very SJW about it too.
Yeah, you were.
Because it's depiction of women.
Right.
Which is just what I thought too. I thought about this myself. I think we should. I'm gonna pull the original review and we'll play. We'll do like a special episode. We'll do that. We'll play the original. I'll see if we can get Espo too, and we'll just redo the show like 10 years later or whatever it's been. Speaking of which, we're coming up on episode 5, honey. How about you, Lady Wan? What are your thoughts on the Justice League Snyder Cut?
Well, I don't know how much of it I believe exists, so that is really my.
Well, he said it
hesitation.
exists, right? Didn't he say? Of course, it exists. Or something?
Like
Got a picture
all
of the
of
can?
it, though. Like all of it. Okay, if I'm going to believe it exists, like if I accept that a full Snyder Cut exists, then I would say like 65%. What else are we doing? But I don't believe that it exists in its entirety, and that's why it's not happening.
I thought it was just the special effects were outstanding. Some effects hadn't been done. But
I don't know.
Maybe no. I don't know.
I don't know.
Matt, did you give us a percentage on this? This is yours.
I didn't. I'm going to say 45% because honestly, I don't think they can make this thing any better. It's not good. I don't care what anybody says. Snyder's not going to make it any better either.
It's so bad.
I remember when the executives walked out and said it was unwatchable.
It's so bad. It made me mad.
Yeah, it's not a good film, Chris.
Are you talking
Sorry.
about Justice League or BVS? Don't get confused now.
Both.
Justice League.
Okay.
They're not. Neither one are good.
It's a frustrating physical experience to sit through.
Thank you. I do. I had a physical reaction.
Like I was so angry.
I think one does for me is when Wonder Woman, it's clearly an inserted scene when she goes, "Boys," and shakes her head. That was added in by Whedon. It's so out of, it's just, okay, fine. Let's bring the room up. Ready? What are the odds an Edgar Wright film in any capacity wins an Oscar?
Who are you asking?
Both of you. Well, I guess we'll start with you, Matt. Lady Wan is not a fan of this segment, so let's take it easy on her.
Okay. Yeah, I guess. Geez, I really adore Edgar Wright in any capacity.
Screenplay, sound design. We came close. with Baby Driver.
Yeah, I'm gonna say there's a 70% chance that at some point he wins an Oscar in any capacity.
All right, I like
That's
that.
great. He's a treasure.
He is.
He's a treasure to the world.
It would suck if it's a technical Oscar, but I think that's what it'll end up being. What about you, Juan? You got an opinion on that?
Yeah, I think technical Oscar is highly likely. I wouldn't go any further than that. I don't think it would be like really something where we'd get to see him make a speech. But something for his film, sure. Films, yeah, like I'm going to go slightly more confident than that. I'm going to go 73%.
Ooh.
Oh.
All right,
Wow.
well, I'll go 72 because Price is Right rules. I don't want to go over. I think so too. I think it's a shame. I think all of his films I have loved. I can't think of. He hasn't made a bad movie,
Right.
and I think he's progressed and gotten better every single time. I'm really curious to see his horror film that's supposed to come out. Well, who knows at this point? But
What about the robot dentist?
No, there's something before that. He actually did a horror
okay.
film that's supposed to come out this year. I don't know, but yeah, no, they just announced that robot dentist who watches 80s and 90s movies and yeah.
It sounds weird. I'm on
It
board.
does sound weird. I'm a little weird. I'm a little concerned about that one, but who knows? We'll see. All right, Matt, do you have another one or?
Yeah, I
One more?
do. It's still kind of situational related, but I guess what are the odds we get more of these $20 home streamers? And what are the odds if we get them that Chris is going to make me buy them?
All right, I think I think we do it. We call it the bloodshot rule. It's only going to be $20 if we actually get to buy it.
Okay.
I don't know if it's worth spending $20 to rent something.
Mm.
Now, granted, it depends on what the landscape is. If we're stuck, then I don't know. But I think if it's $20 to own, it might be worth it. It might be. So, is this the new normal? Right? Is that what you're asking me, basically?
Yeah, I mean, so let's say we'll give it to the end of the year. Like, how do you think we're going to get another slate of $20 streamers? That would have gone to, and more studios doing it, other than the 3 or 4. That we got.
For sure. Oh yeah, I'm like 85% that's going to happen, if not mine. I'm not scared. 90%. We're going to get more of those $20 on-demand rentals. Absolutely. Ms. Wan, do you have an opinion on that?
Oh, totally agree. Yeah. Like honestly, 100%. It's totally happening. And AMC needs to regroup and come back to me as an A-lister on pause and ask me if I want to turn my subscription into that. And I'll be like, yes, please.
I would love for them to pull something like, even if they bump me to $25 or $30, maybe a month. Yeah, $30 a month to watch 3 movies a week via that outlet. I think that might be worth it.
Yeah.
But that'd have to be the new stuff because right now
Yes.
they're just basically a glorified iTunes with old
Right.
films on their
Yeah.
streaming
If you
service.
can give me new releases, I will unpause my A-list and happily consume the media.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know whether it'll never happen because the theater chains, they can go directly to you and make all the money. Why would they give AMC a cut?
Mm-hmm. Right. And I mean, why would the whole point? I mean, you have to show your license for your A-list because you're just to make sure you're not bringing somebody else along or using it for somebody else. So like if you have a house full of people and it's just you paying for it, they're never going to go for that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Stupid heads. What about you, Matt? What's your percentage?
Yeah, I'm going to be as confident as Lady Wan. I'm going to say 101% that it's going to happen.
Not something physically possible, but all right.
I haven't. I'm surprised it hasn't happened already, to be quite honest with you. As this thing continues endlessly, and I'm stuck inside now until May. I'm not going to be able to go back to work until May. I never thought I'd say that.
Yeah, yeah. We just announced it, yesterday, that we're going a little longer now?
Yep.
Not that I'm always work from home. Doesn't make a difference to me. All right. So we're going to close out What Are the Odds with a little treat we like to do with this segment, and that's over-under. Like to spice things up a bit.
Okay.
So here's your number, 25. Over-under, 25. You got to give me a number above that or below that. Tom Holland's age when the Uncharted movie is released. It was set to begin filming today, and it's been delayed.
How old is he now?
23.
He's 23. Jeez. I'm going to go over just because I think it could be like 25 in like a month. So like, I'm going to go over.
No, it's the year of his 25th year.
Okay.
It's not like on his birthday, you maniac.
No, I mean, I thought you like under 25 or over 25, like meaning like 26 or 24. But I guess, yeah, I'm going to go over, I guess. It seems more likely.
Yeah, I don't think it's coming out next year. But who knows? What do you think, Lon? What's your over-under on that?
I feel like over, and I don't want to be continued to be stuck in my home. But, the longer we can wait for this, that'd be cool because he's too young for this role. So it's bugging me.
He's
too young.
Yeah, that's when I first thought too when they announced it. He is 23.
I hate
so
this
maybe
casting. And I love Tom Holland. And I love Uncharted. And I hate this casting. He's too young.
Yeah. Good
So
times.
give me 27.
All right. I think over is the correct answer as well. You are both right. So congratulations. I'm thinking 26, maybe 27, unfortunately. So, or maybe never. I mean, this thing has been in development hell for 10 years now? Longer?
Yeah, a long time, yeah.
So we'll see if we ever get that Uncharted movie. We'll do a double feature with that and New Mutants, Matt, if that ever happens. What are your odds? Shoot us an email at feedback@thefirstrun.com. We'd love to hear what you thought of that segment. If you hated the segment, I don't need to hear it. I don't need to hear it. Coming up next week, Matt, it's going to be Swallow and The Wind. Swallow and The Wind.
Awesome.
We got to do a different final segment, though, because that 5 typecasting breakers is for Guns Akimbo. We still got to work out some of these final segments. We had them all plotted out like through May, and none of them make any sense anymore. Way to go, Corona.
Everything's gone to hell.
In the meantime, when you're done listening to this, pop on over to ScreenFixPod.com, where you get to listen to the lovely Lady Wan, along with her co-host, who is
the equally lovely JC.
I had trouble using the word gentleman discussing that man. He is just not a nice guy. I've heard a lot of horrible things about him. And,
I will defend JC to the death, Chris. Don't let me come down there.
Make your move. So what's your latest show about, Lady Wana? What do you got in the can? What's next?
Oh, well, the last one that came out was Sonic the Hedgehog. That's out on VOD now, so everybody can catch up on it and watch or listen to that episode. And then coming out Monday is going to be The Invisible Man, featuring you.
What? Cross promotion, baby. You know what?
Yeah.
I got to confess, I don't think I did as good a job on that one as I did the first time I was on. I thought the first time I was on, I was amazing. Right? I was
fantastic both times.
There you go.
Amazing.
Exactly. But that second one, I felt kind of. So I don't know. I thought it did okay.
It was good stuff.
There you go. Yeah, don't listen to me. I'm awesome. Don't worry about me. It's good. Even with me there, that show, even with me, it's still awesome. So check it out. You can find them on all your favorite podcasting platforms and even some you don't like. Mm-hmm. In the meantime, go ahead and go over to Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter. Do a search for The First Run. Scroll. Eventually, you will find us. If you're especially the YouTube show, we give you a little free bonus content at the beginning and sometimes at the end of the show. Who knows? And then go over to Apple Podcasts and give us a review. It'll help other people find the show. And I will read it on air, no matter how horrible that review is, because I am dedicated to connecting with you, the listener. Matt, Lady Wan, Matt, I don't care so much about Lady Wan. Thank you again so much for joining us. It has been a pleasure.
Thank you for having me.
You have a standing invitation. Whenever you want to pop on, just give me a heads up. Or not, just show up. That's fine.
I'll just crash the party.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that'll be it. Matt, you stay safe up in Burley, Connecticut. I hope everything's going well there.
Yeah, it's going. It's going. I don't usually like the heat, but I wish I could go outside because it's still like 50 degrees here, so it's not quite hanging out outside weather yet.
We're getting there.
Mm-hmm.
We're getting there. All right, that's the big show for this week. We're going to take an extended break, and we will see you all soon. Stay safe.
Now, in honor of our special guest, I've created dinner mondieu. First, we have French fries and French dressing and French bread. And to drink, ta-da, Peru